Hey, you know what time it is? It's time to respect the wrench! Hey, Dad has a little leak in the tire, and we found out that it's a nail. So I'm just going to make a quick video and show you guys how to fix it. I'm just going to go over quickly what we'll need for this video. So first, I strongly recommend having one of these kits in your vehicle at all times. And the reason is, say you're in another state or province or whatever, and you don't know the local, garage shops or whatever, so you don't know where you can get a replacement of a tire. This kit is really good for just, pulling over, fixing your tires, and getting back on the road. Now, there's a ton of new toys that I got that I'm really loving. So first, we have this amazing Pro Point ratchet. But now, let me show you something really cool. You see that ball joint right there? In a lot of ratchets, that's actually plastic. But it's metal in this one. So, it's really strong. And another thing is, look at this. It's my new breaker bar. So say you have a breaker bar like this, that's pretty good. But this one does both really well. So now another thing is I just have cutters and a blade to be able to, we're going to have to use those later in the video, or we may need a screwdriver or hammer. And very important that you have these rubber chalks. Now a big thing, a lot of people, they don't use chalks, they'll use wood or bricks, but really rubber chalks are the best way to go. Now another thing, we have some 3-ton jacks, really good here. And then we have a new jack right here. So these are the main tools that we're going to be needing for this video. And we're also going to have to use this spray. We have just soapy water, warm water. And this is going to be used to actually find where the nail is in the tire. So let's get right into it. Important thing to do before you do the jacking and all that. First, you want to put these on the tires. Now, the ground's pretty level here, so I'm just going to put these on the front and back of the front tire on this side of the car. I had these mats set up just so I can look under the car to get the right jacking point. Now, a thing about this jack that I really like is, check this out. I have an extension. That's why I really like this jack. It's really good for SUVs and trucks. So this Power Fist jack really is a great jack. So now, before I even jack the car, I want to loosen the bolts now, so then when I have the car lifted, when I'm turning the nuts around, that the wheel won't spin. It's a ratchet now. Now it's a breaker bar. I really like this ratchet in particular just because of that one cool feature. Thanks, Dad, for paying. So I have all the nuts loose, so now I'm just going to lift the car from the right position. So now I have the jack in the position that I like it on the main frame, and not on any main body panels or anything. And a really cool thing about this is the swivel right here, so I can be in this position watching it while jacking the car. And since this is a really good 3-ton jack, it's really easy to lift a car like this. Provided that you keep your hydraulic jack in good condition and good maintenance, you shouldn't have a problem. But just for safety, I want to put this jack stand under. So now we're going to be able to loosen all the nuts all the way off And now a big thing for me is safety. So I want to put on my safety goggles. I should have had them on earlier, but you know, we're all good. It's just Jack in the car. So now I'm putting them on now. And another big thing is for men, you don't want to lose your nuts. So here, you want to have a magnetic nut holder or a magnetic tray to hold all your nuts. Now a big thing about this as well, you can use it as a screwdriver to get all of this off. And you also want to go and be going in star patterns. And I did do it right beside here. It's not a big deal here, but when you're breaking the nuts loose and reattaching them and putting the nuts back on, you want to be going in a star pattern to make when you're putting the wheel on, to make it even and make all that force even on the wheel and on the nuts. So now make sure that you're holding the tire so it doesn't fly off. And now carefully. So now we've checked around the border of the rim where where the tire and the rim meet, and we've already tested these, and we've also checked the valve stem itself, and we do know it is a nail on the tire, but we're just going to go through the procedure before you do any work on the tire. You know, make sure that you check with soapy water. And look like what we have here. So right here, you see that? You can tell that it is, you can tell that the nail is there by all that bubbling up. And you can physically hear it slightly from all that bubbling up. So now we're going to show you how to plug it. So now you want to make sure that your tire has enough air, because if it's really low, that you won't be able to see the bubbles that are popping up from the nail. So now you should get a little portable compressor if you don't have a full-sized one to blow your tire up if it's dead on you. So now what we want to do is we're going to use a tire repair kit to repair this. So I'm going to show you how to set that up right now. So now what I just want to do is clean off the nail area just so I have enough space to dig at this nail. So I'm going to dig at this nail and I'm going to just pull it out. But before I do that, I want to make sure I have this tool ready to dig in the hole as soon as I pull the nail out. So let's do that now. So now there's a variety of ways to get the nail. You can use pliers, needle nose pliers, you can use, cutters, or you can use a screwdriver. There's many ways. But, you want to be patient with it and be digging at it carefully. Then remember to have this tool ready for when you get the nail out, immediately take it and dig it in. And then you want to move it up and down and all that. But I'll go through that later. So now, I'm just going to be digging at this nail until I'm able to get it out. So now I went to these bigger needle nose pliers and I seem to be getting it out. But now if this is a screw and not a nail, okay, you'll want to back it out like a screw. So I have this tool that's in the tire right now. I'm going to just pull it out a little and put all of that right there to dig it into the hole. Now what you want to do is you want to put a ton of this rubber cement onto the plug. And then what you want to come over is you want to carefully pull that out. And now put that in. But don't push it in too far, because this is our second time doing this. And yeah, and you want 1/2 inch of this plug sticking out. So I want to push it in very carefully, but make sure it doesn't go in all the way. There we go. So now what you want to do is, now that's 1/2 inch out, I want to give it a really good firm pull. There we go. So now you see all of this sticking out. Alright, now what you want to do is let this sit for around 10 to 15 minutes to let it dry out so it's not tacky anymore. So we'll be coming back to this in around 10 to 15 minutes until it's all dried out. So now this is actually the second time that I was doing this. The first time what happened was, you see those plugs? They're the length of this. So when I pushed it in, what happened was, pushed it in and it was actually flush against this. So you want to have at least 1/2 inch in there. And this is a problem that you might run into because it's so much pressure. You're pushing in and boom, it's all of a sudden all the way in, and you don't want that. So you want to be really careful when you're pushing it in. And we actually had to pull out the first one. So that's just a little thing to keep in mind when you're doing this. So just a thing to keep in mind, if your nail is somewhere along here, or if it's actually on the border, you don't want that, because I'll tell you why. This is actually a structural part of the tire. So only if it's along here. If it's here, you can't fix it, you have to replace it. So some people think that this is a temporary fix, some people think that's a permanent fix. So you want to be able to watch it. If it's keeping air in it for just as well as all the others, then you're good. But if it's not, then what you'll want to do is get a patch onto the inside. And when we get around to it, we may want to do that and have a patch on the inside of this tire down at Cal Tire. So the kit that I got at Princess Auto came with this blade. So this is what you want to do after 20 minutes of waiting to let it dry. And as you can see, it's very tacky, or it's not very tacky anymore, and it's dry. So now what you want to do is take your blade and very gently without cutting into the tire, so now what I want to do is just cut this so it's flush with this part of the tire right here, okay? And now just remember, if a 12-year-old can repair a tire, then so can you. So now what you want to do is take your spray bottle and watch this. Now that I did fill it with air after I plugged this in, so now watch. You should not be able to see any air bubbles. Now, those bubbles are just from the soap, but there's none just floating out. Now, here's a before, and here's an after. So now I just want to show you what was actually in our tire. So now this is half of a self-tapping concrete screw. Now we pumped up our tire already, and you want to make sure that you have the correct PSI. So you want to have a gauge like this to be able to check what the PSI is. And for a Dodge Grand Caravan, which is our van, it's 36. So now I'm just going to take this tire, put it back on the car. You know how it rolls. So just remember, if a 12-year-old can do it, you can do it. Just to let you know, before I finish bolting this tire in, the specifications for the Dodge Grand Caravan 2009, when you're bolting the nuts in, is 100 pound-feet of torque. And before I wrap up, I just want to tell you guys that not be afraid of, working on your car. Go out there, buy some tools. You know that little kit that I just used to fix this tire? $5. Guess what? It cost you $250 just to get your car towed somewhere. So it's really good to have that kit everywhere you go. And it's also good to have a 12-volt air compressor in your car as well. So just don't be afraid of working on your car. Save money and also get that satisfaction that you want to. And remember, respect the wrench! So now this is just a regular air pressure gauge that I got from my college, and we used it to check the PSI on our tire, and the plug is working great. And this is only 2 weeks later, hasn't lost any air. It's super great. And thank you for watching, and please subscribe if you like.